Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. We are sitting right in the middle of the week. The dust has settled from the weekend box office, and we are just bracing ourselves for what is coming this Friday. And I have to say, looking at the stack of research we have today, the pulse of Indian cinema is beating in a very strange rhythm right now.
It is. It's a rhythmic almost. We have these massive global highs, red carpets, BAFTAs, Hollywood premieres, and then we have this very gritty, somewhat confusing reality back home at the box office. It feels like the industry is trying to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up, even though it's like over 100 years old.
That is the perfect way to frame it. It's like it's having a midlife crisis and a teenage rebellion all at once. We have a lot to get through.
Yeah.
We are going to look at the numbers. Obviously, Mardani 3 is fighting for its life, and Romeo is doing something very interesting with its release strategy.
Oh, yeah.
But we are also going to look at the people. We have some confessions this week from Nina Gupta, from Sina Newell, that are so blunt they make the usual PR statements look like fairy tales.
And we cannot forget the flashback. We are going back to 1973 today.
Oh, I am ready for that. A casting choice so scandalous, I genuinely don't know how they got away with it.
It involves siblings playing lovers.
That is, well, we will get there. We will definitely get there. But let's start with the hard numbers. The menu today is packed, but the main course has to be the box office. We have data on Mardani 3. It's day 18.
Day 18, so we are deep into the third week. The number we are looking at is 45 lakhs.
45 lakhs on a third Monday. Now, the trade analysts are calling this moderate. That is the word of the week, moderate. But when I look at a franchise like Mardani, led by Rani Mukherjee, who is, let's be honest, a force of nature, does moderate actually mean underperforming? Or are we grading on a curve because it's not some massive VFX spectacle?
We have to grade on a curve here, but we also have to be realistic about the ceiling for a film like this. The cop universe we are used to, the Rohit Shetty model, is about flying cars and slow motion entries.
And a tiger growl sound effect every time the hero punches someone.
Exactly. Mardani has always been the gritty, realistic cousin of that universe. It's dark. It's uncomfortable. So 45 lakhs on day 18 suggests that the core audience is still there. These are the people who want to see Ronnie break bones, not do dance numbers.
It's a loyalist tax, essentially. The people who love it really love it. But let's dig a little deeper into that number. 45 lakhs in the third week suggests legs, right? Usually bad films crash and burn by the second Monday. This implies there is a steady trickle of people saying, I need to see this.
Precisely. It implies word of mouth is neutral to positive. It's not that explosive you have to see this, but it's more of a, yeah, it's good, go watch it.
All right.
But it also signals that the genre hasn't expanded its reach. If this were a breakout hit, we'd be seeing a spike, word of mouth pushing it to a broader demographic. Moderate means the fans showed up and nobody else really did.
So it's holding, but it's not growing.
And in 2026, with the cost of marketing and everything else, holding is a dangerous place to be.
It feels like the mid-budget trap. If you aren't an event, you're invisible. Which brings us to a Romeo. This is the one I've been tracking. Day 5, nearing Arsa's 50 crore.
And this is a fascinating case study because you've got Shahid Kapoor and Vishal Bhardwaj. We're talking about a legacy partnership here. Kamini, Haider, Rangoon. They don't just make movies, they make cultural artifacts.
Haider's still studied in film schools. That monologue in the snow, iconic.
Exactly. So Romeo is based on a chapter from Hussain Zaidi's Mafia Queens of Mumbai. You have the grit of the underworld, the Shakespearean tragedy of Bhardwaj, and the star power of Shahid. But here's the kicker. It's being called steady, yet we already know it's heading straight to streaming right after the theatrical run.
That window is shrinking so fast. It used to be 8 weeks, then it was 4 weeks. Now it feels like the ink is barely dry on the cinema ticket before it's on an app. Why do you think that is, especially for a film with this kind of pedigree?
I think it's a strategic pivot. A film like Romeo sits on a very razor-thin fence. It's too intellectual for the massive single-screen crowd who wants pure masala, but it's maybe too Bollywood for the highbrow art house crowd. So the OTT release is the safety net. That is where the second life of the film happens.
Right.
That is where people pause, rewind, and dissect the dialogue. The theater is for the vibe. The streaming is for the analysis.
So the theatrical run is almost like a marketing campaign for the OTT release.
In many ways, yes. It establishes the prestige. It says, this was in theaters, therefore it's a real movie.
Yeah.
Then you watch it on your tablet. It's bridging that gap between mass and class.
Yeah.
Bhardwaj has always been the king of that bridge, but now the distribution model is actually catching up to his style of filmmaking.
That is a really sharp observation. It's almost like the medium is finally fitting the message. Speaking of watching on tablets, let's talk about Tuya Main, released just last Friday, February 13th, 2026. A Friday the 13th release for survival thriller. Nice touch.
A little on the nose, but I'll allow it. And you have Adarsh Gaurav and Shania Kapoor. An interesting pairing. You have Adarsh, who is known for these intense method performances. The white tiger, and Shania, who comes from that glossy star kid lineage.
It's a collision of two Bollywoods, really, the method actor and the glam debutante.
It is. But the buzz isn't about the box office numbers. It's about the fact that the audience is already waiting for the digital drop. We have a slate of 7 new movies and shows dropping this Friday, February 20, across Netflix, JioHotstar, and ZE5. The consumer behavior has shifted. For a survival thriller, which is usually claustrophobic, smaller scale, high-tension people are deciding that their living room is good enough.
It's the home theater effect. Unless there are dinosaurs or spaceships, I'm staying in my pajamas, but doesn't that hurt the genre? A survival thriller in a dark theater with strangers is a shared anxiety experience. You kind of lose that at home.
You do lose the collective gasp, that's true. But you gain the ability to binge. And the industry is responding. They are greenlighting these scripts with OTT in mind, even if they give them a token theatrical release. It's becoming an OTT-first DNA, as we call it. Mid-budget thrillers are the new paperback novels. You consume them quickly at home, and then you move on.
That is a great analogy, the paperback novel of cinema. So we are moving from the big screen to the small screen, but let's talk about the themes, because looking at the slate, things are getting dark. I mean, really dark. I saw the notes for Psychocyan.
Chuckles. The title alone tells you everything, doesn't it? It's not subtle.
Not at all. Psychocyan, starring Ravi Kishan and Tegaswi Prakash, and Anuj Singh Dhaka is in there too. The key words in the press pack are love turning into obsession, sinister twist, and dark romance thriller.
This is a massive departure from the 90s.
Yeah.
Think about the romances we grew up with. Dilwal Dulhania Le Jayenge, boy meets girl, father says no, boy wins father over. It was always about an external conflict. Society was the villain.
Right. The couple was pure. The world was the problem. They were fighting for their love against all the odds.
Now look at Psychocyan. The lover is the problem. The romance itself is the threat. We are deconstructing the happily ever after. We are cynical about relationships now. We want to see the cracks, the toxicity, the obsession.
And casting Ravi Kishan is brilliant for that. He can be so charming, but he has that switch where he becomes genuinely terrifying. And Tegaswi Prakash brings that massive TV audience who are used to high drama. It's smart casting. It grabs two completely different demographics.
It's a very smart play. It captures the modern anxiety about dating. We are scared of who we are swipe matching with. The horror isn't a ghost in a haunted house anymore. It's the person sitting across from you at dinner.
That is a terrifying thought. And from that personal anxiety to a much broader societal anxiety, we have to talk about. The Careless Story 2 goes beyond.
We do. And we have to be careful here, just report what's out there. This is a franchise that carries a lot of weight. The first film was a lightning rod. It changed the discourse on profitability for non-star films.
For sure. The new details dropped today. It focuses on 3 young Hindu women. The narrative is about deceptive romances and pressure to forsake their beliefs. The title Goes Beyond suggests they are expanding the geographical scope. It's not just Kerala anymore. It's a pan-Indian narrative.
From an analytical perspective, looking at the industry trends, this is establishing a specific subgenre. We can call them societal cautionary tales. Regardless of the political discourse surrounding them, the industry sees that these films, which focus on the visceral struggles of women in these kinds of conflict scenarios, generate massive engagement. They provoke a reaction.
In the attention economy, reaction is currency. If people are arguing about it, they are buying tickets to see it. It's almost immune to traditional criticism because the audience feels a sense of duty or curiosity to watch it and form their own opinion.
Exactly. It's the monetization of discourse. The filmmakers know that if they tap into current societal fears or debates, the marketing just does itself. It's not about, is this a cinematic masterpiece? It's about, is this true? Is this happening? The debate drives the footfall. And we are seeing a similar scale-up with Operation Sindoor.
Now, this is a powerhouse collaboration. Vivek Agnihotri and Pushan Kumar.
Right. You have a director who knows how to push buttons and create national conversations. And you have a producer who is arguably the biggest mogul in music and film right now. That is a lot of muscle behind one project.
The plot is based on terrorist attacks set to occur in 2025, which in the movie's timeline is basically right now. It's speculative history or speculative future history.
It's headline cinema. It takes the fears and the news cycles of the present day and dramatizes them immediately. These aren't historical epics about wars fought 50 years ago. These are about the wars we are afraid might happen tomorrow. It creates an urgency that drives the box office.
It's intense. It feels like the industry is doubling down on reality, even if that reality is heightened. It's a far cry from the escapism of the 90s. But let's zoom out. Let's take a breath and look at the glitz. Because while we are analyzing gritty thrillers and societal dramas, Priyanka Chopra is wearing a brown gown that probably costs more than my car.
The Desi girl ruling hearts in Hollywood. You cannot escape her right now.
She is everywhere. She has a new film, The Bluff. The premiere was recently, and honestly, the headlines are split 50-50. Half are about the movie and half are about her and Nick Jonas.
The sweet kiss on the red carpet.
That's the one. But the fashion, the statement brown gown, it was high drama. It wasn't just a pretty dress. It felt like armor.
It had this structural integrity to it, combining classic elegance with something very modern and sharp. That is a great observation. What fascinates me about Priyanka's trajectory is that she has moved past the trying to break in phase. For years, we saw Indian actors go to Hollywood and get a 3-minute cameo, and we would celebrate it back home like they won an Oscar. Oh, look, he is standing behind Tom Cruise.
We were so desperate for validation.
We were. But Priyanka isn't doing cameos. She is the lead. She is the anchor. She is driving the marketing for this film. That brown gown isn't just fashion, it's a statement of confidence. She is creating a distinct space for herself where her Indianness isn't a gimmick or a stereotype, it's just part of her global brand.
She's not just invited to the party, she's hosting it. She's the one making the toast.
Exactly. She commands that red carpet. And, she's paving the way for others. Look at Alia Bhatt.
This is huge news for 2026. Alia Bhatt announced as a presenter at the 79th BAFTA Film Awards coming up this Sunday, February 22.
It is a massive milestone. The BAFTAs are prestigious. They are, the British Oscars. And look at the company she is keeping in the presenter lineup. Cillian Murphy, Bryan Cranston, Monica Bellucci.
That is the elite tier. She isn't just Bollywood star Alia Bhatt. She is international actor Alia Bhatt. It feels like a graduation.
It does. And she is there to represent. But what I love about this BAFTA update is that it's not just about the superstars. We also have filmmaker Lakshmi Devi attending.
Yes. Her film Boom is nominated for Best Children's Family Film.
And this is the nuance we need to appreciate. We have the glossy star power of Aaliyah, which is great for soft power and brand India. But we also have independent filmmakers like Lakshmi Devi getting critical recognition for their craft. It shows the world that Indian cinema isn't just one thing. It's blockbusters, and it's beautiful, small family films. Boom is a film that speaks a universal language, and having it on the BAFTA stage is just as important as having Alia present an award.
It's a full spectrum, from the flashing cameras to the quiet storytelling. And speaking of the spectrum of cinema, we have to talk about Berlin, the Berlin International Film Festival.
A very prestigious event, and we have an Indian on the main competition jury. Shavendra Singh Dungarpur.
Okay, that sounds like a big deal, but give us the context. How rare is this?
Extremely rare. He is only the third Indian to ever be on the main jury. The first two, Satyajit Ray and Amir Khan.
Wow. Okay, that is the Hall of Fame. That is the Mount Rushmore of Indian cinema representation.
It puts him in the absolute pantheon. And what's great is that Shavendra isn't just a filmmaker. He's an archivist. He runs the Film Heritage Foundation. He's the guy who saves old movies from rotting in cans. He is actually presenting the restoration of Batty, in which Annie gives it those ones from 1989 at the festival.
In which Annie gives it those ones. That is such a cult classic, written by Arundhati Roy, and it has a very, very young Shah Rukh Khan in it.
It does. It's a time capsule of architecture students in Delhi. It captures a specific moment in India's history, the late 80s, that whole pre-liberalization vibe, and the fact that it's being restored and shown in Berlin is a reminder. While we obsess over Mardani 3's box office or Priyanka's dress, someone has to do the work of preserving our history. If we don't save these films, we lose our cultural memory.
It's the vegetables to our candy. We need both. We need the glamour to get the attention and the archiving to keep the soul. And speaking of cultural memory, I think it's time. Are you ready for the flashback?
I am always ready for the flashback. Take us back.
The year is 1973. The film is A Gale Lag Ja.
Directed by Manmohan Desai. Now, listeners will know Manmohan Desai as the king of masala, the guy who made Amar Akbar Anthony, where three brothers are separated and blood travels through plastic tubes to save their mother.
Laughs the medical miracle era, where logic went on vacation and entertainment took over.
Exactly. But this is 1973. This is before he fully embraced the madness.
Yeah.
This is a romance. It's set in Shimla.
And it involves a skiing competition, because nothing says Indian romance like skiing in Shimla in the 70s.
So we have Preeti, played by Sharmila Tagore, and Prem, played by Shashi Kapoor.
The classic setup. Boy meets girl on the slopes, boy gets injured, girl nurses him back to health, sparks fly. It feels very standard so far.
But then, the plot twists. And for 1973, these were radical twists. Preeti becomes pregnant out of wedlock.
Which was taboo number one.
Huge taboo. But then, she refuses to marry Prem.
That is the part that gets me. Usually in 70s cinema, if the couple doesn't marry, it's because the cruel father has a shotgun, or there is a class difference, or some villain intervenes. Here, it's her choice. She says no. It leads to heartbreak, misunderstanding, the whole drama. It gave the female character a strange kind of agency, even if it led to tragedy.
It was narrative rebellion. But the on-screen drama, I think, pales in comparison to the off-screen scandal. The casting. Shashi Kapoor and Sharmila Tagore.
They are related. They aren't just industry friends. They are extended family. Real-life siblings, well, cousins. But in the Kapoor-Tagore clan, that distinction is very thin. They grew up in the same circles.
Imagine the gossip magazines in 1973. How can they cast siblings as lovers? This is incestuous. The audience will vomit. It was a genuine risk. In a conservative society, putting family members in a romantic pairing is playing with fire.
So why didn't it flop? Why didn't the audience reject it?
Two reasons, I think. One, suspension of disbelief. Shashi Kapoor was so charming and Sharmila Tagore was so graceful that within 10 minutes you forgot who they were in real life. You just saw Preeti and Prem. They had this professional chemistry that just transcended the personal reality.
And reason two,
R.D. Burman.
the music.
Tera Mujhe Se Hai Pehle Kamatakoi. When that song starts, logic just leaves the building. Emotion takes over. That melody is so haunting, so romantic, it bulldozed over any societal awkwardness about their family tree. The music convinced the audience to fall in love with them as a couple.
It really is one of those songs that defines an era. And Shashi Kapoor, he passed away in 2017, but roles like this are why he is immortal. He had that crooked smile that could forgive anything.
And Sharmila Tagore proved she could handle complex, messy roles, not just the flower pot roles. After this, she moved towards more art house films in the late 70s. She didn't let this role define her, but she owned it. A Gale-like Jaw stands as this weird, beautiful anomaly, a film that broke the rules of casting and morality, and succeeded because the vibes were just that good.
The vibes were just that good. I love that as a film analysis of 1973. It's a lesson for today's filmmakers, too. If the content is compelling enough, the audience will forgive almost anything. Now, let's fast forward back to 2026. We are sticking with the theme of reality versus perception, because this week we have had some actors just drop the mask. We call this the sliding doors section, the what ifs.
Okay, what's the headline here for you?
Siddhan Chaturvedi. We know him as MC Sher from Gully Boy, the cool, edgy, confident guy. He revealed this week that he was rejected for a lead role early in his career. The reason is
His hair. His hair. Seriously.
specifically his curly hair. He was told, to his face, curly bal wal hero nahi bante. Curly-haired men don't become heroes.
That is absurd. It's such a specific, arbitrary prejudice. It sounds like something from the 1950s. Oh, heroes must have straight, gelled hair.
Right, so what did he do? He didn't argue. He went home and shaved his head.
He went full Britney.
He shaved it all off. It was a reaction to the rejection, a sort of defiance. If you don't like the curls, you get nothing. And now, look at him. He's promoting Dewan Say Her Mine. He has the curls. He has the swag. But it shows the weird physical standards actors face. We think it's just about talent, but sometimes it's about a follicle test.
It highlights that the industry tries to box people into a template. A hero must look like this. Siddhan broke out because he refused to fit the template, eventually. But that initial rejection, that stays with you. It's a reminder of how superficial the gatekeeping can be.
Speaking of things staying with you, let's talk about Saina Newall and Parineeti Chopra.
The biopic drama. This has been simmering for a while.
So Parineeti played Saina in the biopic. There was this whole unfollowing controversy on Instagram. People were asking, why did Saina unfollow the woman who played her? And Saina came out this week and just said it. We were never friends.
That is refreshing honesty.
Isn't it? Usually we get the PR spin. Oh, we're just busy, much love, supporting each other from afar. Saina is an athlete. She doesn't do PR spin. She just serves the truth. Not friends.
And she went further. She explicitly stated she would have preferred Shraddha Kapoor to do her biopic.
That has to sting for Parinetti. Imagine playing someone, training for months, learning the sport, and then the person says, I wanted the other girl.
It's brutal, but it speaks to the ownership people feel over their life stories.
Yeah.
Sain had a vision of herself. Maybe she sees herself as more like Shraddha physically or energetically. It's a fascinating glimpse into the subject's mind. It's not just a movie to them. It's their legacy. Parinetti did a job, but Saina wanted a specific reflection.
It's the ultimate what if Shraddha as Saina. We will never see it, but Saina wishes we did. And speaking of roles that went to someone else, there is this story from Malayalam cinema that surfaced. A top actress described as the epitome of female beauty rejected a Mammootty film.
Okay, why?
She said the role was too glamorous.
Too glamorous. That is a rare complaint in an industry that runs on glamour.
She had boundaries. She didn't want to be objectified or pigeonholed, so she said no. And who took the role? Silksmitha.
Oh, well, that changes the entire texture of the film.
Completely. Silksmitha brings a totally different energy than a classic heroine. She brings raw, unapologetic sensuality. It just shows how a single no from one actor changes film history. If the first actor says yes, Silksmitha doesn't get that moment. Careers are defined by the roles you reject as much as the ones you accept.
That is a profound point. The negative space of a career, the things you don't do, shapes the silhouette of your stardom. And speaking of defining your own path, we have to talk about the veterans, Farida Jalal and Neena Gupta.
Farida Jalal. She is a legend. She is reflecting on a 6-decade career. And she said something that really struck me. No actor has come back the way I did. She is talking about her role in Henna in 1991.
She is absolutely right. Think about her career arc. In the 60s and 70s, she was the sister, the friend, the lovable sidekick in films like Aradhana. Then she disappeared for a bit. When she came back in the 90s, Henna, Dilwal, Dalania, Lejiange, Kuch Kuch, Hota Hai, she reinvented the mother role.
She wasn't the weeping, helpless mother of the 70s. She was the cool mom, the conspirator, the one who understood love.
She had agency. And she talks about her disciplined upbringing. She refused to compromise on her values to get roles. She waited until the roles fit her, rather than shrinking herself to fit the roles. That is resilience.
And then you have Neena Gupta. Talk about a spine of steel. She opened up about Vivian Richards this week.
This was a very candid revelation. For years, there was this whisper network about her pregnancy, about Masaba. Neena clarified that Vivian consented to her having the child. It wasn't a secret. But here's the power move. She took no money to raise her.
No money. In the 80s and 90s, raising a child as a single mother in India, facing that massive societal judgment and choosing to do it on your own dime, that is independence on another level.
It is a statement on dignity. She didn't want the financial support to define the relationship or her rights as a mother. She wanted full ownership of her motherhood. And seeing where Masaba is today, a mogul, a designer, an actor, it validates Neena's struggle. She bet on herself and she won.
It's incredibly inspiring. It redefines what a Bollywood success story looks like. It's not just about box office, it's about life choices. And on the flip side of that single mother narrative, we have Anil Kapoor. He is promoting his new film, Subadar, and he took a moment to praise his wife, Sunita.
He called her contribution tremendous.
It's nice to see the silent partners getting their due. He's connecting his real-life balance, having a strong partner at home, to his character in the film. It acknowledges that the star we see on screen is supported by a whole infrastructure at home. Someone has to keep the lights on while the hero is saving the world.
The family structure supports the public image. But, as we know, family structures aren't always supportive.
Segue master. Let's talk about the Govinda saga. Because this family dynamic is complicated.
Complicated is putting it mildly. We have Vinay And, Govinda's nephew, sharing a story this week. He talked about Govinda washing his mother's feet and drinking the water.
That is extreme devotion. That is mythological level devotion. It feels like something out of a script from the 50s.
It is. It shows deep traditional respect. But then, in the same interview, Vinay talks about the professional distance. He went to Govinda with film offers asking for help or collaboration, and Govinda refused them.
That's the paradox. You drink the water from the feet, but you won't sign the contract.
It highlights a very specific boundary. Govinda separates the personal piety from the professional nepotism. Vinay says Govinda has always been a singular figure. He walks alone. He doesn't carry the clan on his back professionally, even if he worships the elders personally.
Vinay also had to do some rumor control, denying allegations of an affair regarding Govinda, saying he's just focusing on fitness. It feels like being in that family is a full-time job of managing headlines.
It does. But it's interesting to see that boundary personal love does not equal professional handouts. It complicates our understanding of nepotism. It's not always a free ride.
Speaking of boundaries and gender dynamics, Barun Sapti. He is starring in Kora Season 2.
Which is a fantastic show, by the way. If you haven't seen Season 1, go watch it. It's some of the best noir television India has produced.
He plays a cop working under a female boss, played by Mona Singh. And he gave a quote that is trending everywhere. He said, "Men have a problem with stronger women."
And he emphasized that this isn't just a plot point in the show. He said it's a real-life problem.
He is calling out the patriarchy from inside the house. It's refreshing to hear a leading man say, "Yeah, my gender has an ego issue when a woman is in charge."
It is. By playing a character who has to navigate that, presumably struggling with his boss's authority, he is holding a mirror up to society. It's good to see actors engaging with the sociology of their roles, not just looking cool holding a gun. It acknowledges the tension that exists in workplaces everywhere, not just police stations.
Totally. And seeing Mona Singh in a power role is always a win. She commands the screen. Now, let's look at the next generation breaking expectations. Naveli Nanda, Amitabh Bachchan's granddaughter.
The Star Kid narrative is usually, when is the debut? Who is launching you? Are you doing a Karan Johar film?
Right. Everyone expects her to be the next heroine. But she explicitly stated this week that she never felt pressured to join films. She is doing podcasts, she is doing entrepreneurship, she is opting out.
It's a break from the dynasty model. Just because your grandfather's the biggest star in the history of the country doesn't mean you have to be in front of the camera. It's a healthy sign that the younger generation feels the agency to say, no, that's not my path. She is leveraging her platform for business, not acting.
Same with Naga Chaitanya. He is Nagarjuna's son. That is a heavy legacy in Telugu cinema. But he said, "I don't chase comparisons."
Which is the only healthy way to survive. If you wake up every day trying to be Nagarjuna, you will fail.
Yeah.
You have to run your own race. If you look at the track next to you, you trip.
Run your own race. I like that. Okay, speaking of racing, let's race through our quick hits. This is the pulse of the culture right now. First up, music remixes.
The inevitable remixes. What are they butchering today?
Laughs. Be nice. The film is Love Insurance Company, which is a great name, purely for the acronym LIK. They have Pradeep Ranganathan and Kriti Shetty, and they are bringing back Anirudh Ravichander's classic and Akina Yaram Ile.
You called it a classic. It's from 2015.
In internet time, that is ancient history. That is a vintage track.
Laughs. Fair enough. But the original song, it's a sad boy anthem. It's about profound heartbreak. I have no one. It's the song you listen to when you are staring at the ceiling fan at 2 a.m.
So now it's in a shiny new rom-com. I'm curious if they keep the heartbreak or if they turn it into a party track with a beat drop.
That is always the risk. If you make a heartbreak song into a club banger, you lose the soul. But Anirudh's melodies are durable. They can take a bit of remixing. Let's see if they respect the original emotion.
We shall see. Moving to TV. Sunny Sanskar Ki Tulsi Kumari.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
I won't. But it's having its world TV premiere on Star Gold on Feb 22. And in the soap opera world, Kunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahuti is back.
Kunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahuti too. The sequel we didn't know we needed. Shakti Anand is re-entering the show after a break. The drama never stops. The mother-in-law saga is the bedrock of Indian entertainment. It will outlive us all.
It really doesn't stop. Now let's talk beauty standards. Tamana Bhatia, she was at the airport after Mahashivratri.
And the headline is, no makeup look.
Why does simplicity go viral? She is just wearing her face.
Because we are so used to the filter. We are used to the contour, the lashes, the lighting. Seeing a star with fresh, bare skin feels like a revelation. It's authenticity. In a world of Facetune, a clean face is a statement. It says, I am comfortable with who I am.
It's the I woke up like this, but for real. Finally, before we wrap up, we must pay our respects. We lost some talent this week.
Yes. S. Ramachandra. If you are a fan of Kannada cinema or parallel cinema in general, you know this name. He was a cinematographer who shaped the visual language of an entire movement.
He made the meaningful cinema look meaningful. He found the poetry in the mundane.
He did. And Pravina Deshpande. We remember her from Ready with Salman Khan. She passed away at 60.
It's important to remember the character actors and the technicians. We look at the stars, but these are the people who build the world we get lost in. Without them, there is no magic.
Absolutely.
So, looking back at this whole deep dive, What is the takeaway for you? We started with a scandalous sibling romance in 1973. We ended with survival thrillers on OTT in 2026.
We have Nina Gupta refusing money to raise her child. We have Siddhant Chaturvedi shaving his head to defy a stereotype. We have Alia Bhatt on the BAFTA stage.
What's the thread that ties all this together?
I think the thread is resilience.
Yeah.
The industry is tough. It rejects you for your hair. It judges you for your family. It demands you change your genre because the box office is down. But the people who survive, like Farida Jalal, like Priyanka Chopra, like the creators of Mardani, they are the ones who just keep pushing. They pivot, they adapt, they fight.
And the audience evolves with them. We accepted the weirdness of 1973. We are accepting the dark, cynical romances of 2026. We are growing up too.
We are. And that is the most exciting part. We aren't just watching, we are changing with it.
Well, that gives you a lot to chew on until Friday's releases drop. Keep your eyes on the box office, maybe check out an old classic like a Gale Lagjaw this week, and see if the scandal holds up.
Definitely.
From headlines to heartbeats, you've been listening to Bollywood Deep Dive by IndiaRevue.com. Catch you where the stories are.